Yo, 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 yo. What's good, people? It is me back in the studio, Jason Gooner, and we are here for a full Reggae Girls special reasoning time. Of course, you know we have to give them their time because they are back in action this Friday facing Antigua and Barbuda. So we're going to preview that today for sure. Look at the squad, break it all down. We're definitely going to listen to the press conference as well. They had a squad announcement press conference. I believe it was Monday. I can't even remember when it was, but it was recently. We'll have that. We'll have those clips. We'll have those sounds. We're going to react to it here live. And of course, you know, we're going to look at the squad all together, see what they have been up to at their various clubs, and see what kind of form they are on going into this last window of the W qualifiers. We're going to remind you guys as well what they're playing for. Of course, this is the Concacaf W qualifiers that this is the last window of. So teams are vying to join the top dogs in the women's game in CONCACAF in that W championship. Of course, I believe there are 4 awaiting, and they're looking for the other 4 from the 4 groups that are currently taking place. So we're going to look at the groups, see who is in line to get into that championship. We're not going to look too far ahead, though. Just going to look at how the groups are looking now, try to predict how they're going to finish in each group, and then we'll get an idea of how that championship is going to look. But for today's show, people, the format is going to be like this. We're going to obviously bless up the people in the comment section first and foremost. Remind everybody that is tuning in today that it is a YouTube show. So the best way to support the host, the person you're looking at and listening to, is to like the video. Of course, if you would like it to be seen by more people, you can share it as well. There's a little share button on your screen. You can share it in your various groups that you might be in. Let people know that if they want to hear about this Reggae Girls team and this weekend coming up and the following week where we'll play another game against Guyana, this is the place to be for all of that. Right now, I want to say big up to all the YouTuber them in the space creating the content daily. It's been a long line of news about Rudolph Speed and whether he's going to continue to be the coach and what the Reggae Boys have to do next. People, I'm not even bothering with that noise right now. Today and moving forward until at least the 18th, I will be focusing as far as Jamaica football is concerned on the girls. All right. So if you're looking for a place to find information on your beloved Reggae Girls, this definitely is the place to be. I also, in this stream today, will be dropping the link to the live watch along. We'll be doing it Friday night. That game will be in the stadium. I believe it's 7 o'clock local time kickoff, so 8 o'clock for me. So I have that stream set for an hour before. I will be here to do all the leading and build up for that match, and also here for the live commentary and breakdown. All right. So we will drop that link later as the place gets nice and full, so that people can go and show some support to that live stream from now. So we can get the likes up on that video as well. So people, that's what we're going to do today. Press conference, listen, react to it, look at the squad, break it down, analyze it, and then we will do a piece of a preview for Antigua and Barbuda. I'm going to be honest with you, people. I have some more research to do on Antigua, so we're not going to focus so much on Antigua today. I will use the bulk of the lead into the match to kind of give you my thoughts on Antigua and my keys to the victory that day. So don't look for too much in-depth preview analysis today as far as the Antigua team is concerned. We're going to focus on our girls and just kind of let you guys, keep you guys and make you aware of, you know, what kind of season they've been having, what kind of form they're bringing into this window. All right, people. So we have a full slate of things we want to get through today. So we don't want to waste any more time where that is concerned. We're going to get right into the press conference that was held some days ago now. So we're going to get that up. And I believe it should be on JFF Live. So we're going to get that going. Yeah, so that was a full 7 days ago now. Wow, time flies. So yeah, this was a bit before. And that's one thing. That's a question I want to ask the viewers that are here now. Do you guys prefer how the girls tend to do their squads, which is, you know, maybe a full 7 days before they even travel to join up with the team? It seems like the Reggae Boys typically are a lot closer to that kickoff day the girls don't seem to have that same time frame when their releases are out. So do you guys have a preference? Do you like the way the girls do it a little bit more in advance of the window? Most times I think the Reggae Boys might be on the fence with players that might be getting their paperwork. It's a bit dangerous as well to name a squad prior to them playing that last weekend, which is kind of unavoidable because they do travel basically the day of or the day after their last game. So you'd have to notify the public of the squad a little before that. But it seems like the Reggae Boys tend to go very close to that window, and the Reggae Girls usually have a little bit more time before. Do you guys have a preference? I don't really know exactly if there's a better way or a worse way, but I'm just curious to know what the people think on that, because it's clear that the Reggae Girls do put out the squads a few days before their counterparts on the male side would. Bless up Stetson in the building. That's going to bless up some people. The mall is here as well. Big up. Thanks for tuning in, Nice and Shirley. And thanks as well for becoming a member. That's a great way to support the channel. So CK, one of my earliest members, appreciate you, bro. And, people that become members we greatly appreciate. But the ones that become members and actually renew, boy, we give them a different respect as well. So we greatly appreciate it. Up, El Meeks, up, Street Drive, big up, big up, big up, big up. Annas and Manners, Jagans, big supporter as well as the channel. Big up yourself, Jagans. Thank you so much for the support. Marvin Ferran in our building says, up, JG. Positive Vibrations Radio says, Sir Gooner. Big up yourself, Positive Vibrations. Bless up, time to talk about my favorite subject. Yeah, well, we're going to see how many people it's their favorite as well, because when we do these reasoning time shows and it's geared around the boys, we see certain numbers on the video. So we're hopeful that even though we're not going into the realm of the Reggae Boys today, which is all the rage right now with all the news, just saw some news when I was getting ready to start this video as well, that the Unity Cup has been confirmed for this year. So definitely content to be made on the boys' side. But like I said, I am focusing on the girls for this week. Of course, all my seeing Duckland here, I'm remembering Donkey of the Week. So seeing all my EPL supporters, the ones that know that I put out EPL content as well, you know that the EPL will be back this weekend. We had the FA Cup last week, Champions League this week, and now weekend. I think the first match is on Friday. So what we're going to do, people, I always do a preview and a review show each EPL match week. So I'll be bringing you a preview show tomorrow night. So the only other content you'll see in this, what I call the Reggae Girls week, is some EPL content. So I'll be doing a preview show tomorrow night, that's Thursday night, and I'll be doing a review show, I believe, Sunday. I don't think there's a match on Monday this week, but basically, big up Duke. From a day I win still, so I forgive you respect. Thinking of the champion of the week as well, because he's done both. So I can't act like him always finish last in the competition. But yeah, it made me think of the EPL. So yeah, tomorrow preview, and then in the preview show, I'll let you know when the review will forward. But basically, whatever day the last match of that EPL week is played, you'll expect a review show for that week from me. All right. So tune in for that tomorrow night. If you like the EPL, we'll break down the games just like we'll break down any other game. And we'll also let the people get involved by keeping track of the score predictions and then bringing out revealing the results in the review show. All right. So if you're new to the channel or you've never seen that side of the channel, yeah, man, definitely think about tuning in if you're a fan of the EPL as well. All right. Bless up, Alex. Big up, yeah, man. The teacher there for have class. Gunners, big up yourself, Nitro. I'll be back for EPL like Bob coming in from the cold. All right, Nitro, big up. Yeah, nice smash and grab yesterday over Portugal. We'll take it any way we can get it right now, Nitro. Trust me. I had one in the building, probably the most knowledgeable subscriber on the topic we're going to talk about today. So I love when she is around for these conversations. Girls present more organized with info because their committed players are more decisive. They're either in or out. I had one that could be a variable because in my assessment of the two things, I was thinking that a lot of times Jamaica men's side is on the fence with players up to the last hour. And you're right. Maybe for the women's side, it is not that type of game they have to play. I don't mind early or late presser. Both have pros and cons, says I had one. Yeah, because I mean, look, the pros are the early, you get it out there, the fans know, you can have the conversations, you give enough time as well for if something does happen, you have a little time to change it. Maybe that's another pro. The con obviously is matches that still left to be played. Sometimes 2 matches left for those players. So that's a lot of watching with bated breath, hopeful that nothing happens to the players that you have called. So yeah, it has both can have pros and cons. I agree there. I had one. Jay Hyman in the building says, big up yourself, Jay. Oh, so that's Jordan. Yo, one thing, Jordan is gonna change logos and things like the weather. You see me? He's had many, many different names, but that is Jordan right there. Big up yourself, Jordan. Question, Gooner. When the girls qualify, do we lift their expectations to getting out the group and try to compete? Well, Alex, look, I think you are always going to be a victim of your previous results, right? So the fact that we had a very, very difficult group in the last World Cup we played, and we were able to get out of it and get to a knockout game, I think that the expectation is at least to do that again, right? So, yeah, I think if we happen to qualify from the championship, once that happens, we're one of the teams that goes to the World Cup out of Concacaf. I think that people will be looking for us to get out of the group again because we have seen them do that before. So, I think, yeah, the expectation will be to get out the group. Now, whether people, since we got to the round of 16 last time, whether people will only be happy if we get past that this time, that remains to be seen. But I think the expectation is set now that, yeah, if we could have gotten out of a group with Brazil and France as one of the top 2 teams, I would venture to say no matter what group we get at this coming World Cup, people will maybe not expect, but be very hopeful that we'll get out of the group. Girls don't have no football coaching setup. Yeah, that could be a part of it as well, why it's able to come a little sooner. Meeks a much clearer vision. That could definitely be a part of it. The girls do better because money is less to the junk, so the junk stay away. So there's not enough room for the vultures to get in and mess up the damn thing where we are trying to do. Well, Duke, you might be onto something there, I've always said, one of the reasons why I think in the women's game you don't hear the conversation as much of the local and overseas is I think the level that the league has been able to get to, the women's league, is not there, right? And even though the JPL isn't there, it has a history, it has a bigger fan base, it has historians that may love it, and the fact that we have had success with that 98 team with players predominantly made up of in that league, we have never been able to do that on the women's side. So there's nothing to look to say, we've done it this way, it can work, let's do it again. On the girls' side, it's not there. Now, in 10, 15, 20 years, if they continue to try to grow the league as I see them doing now, the girls in that league will improve, the teams will improve, the coaching will improve, and maybe there will come a time when on the women's side, we're having the same conversation that is so toxic on the men's side most of the time. Demo J&I building, big up my brother. Yeah, man, Demo has been, I wouldn't say in hiding. He came back around lately because his FPL team starting to do good again. But yeah, good to see Demo here in the building as well. Big up yourself, Demo. Seems like someone dropped out because I see they call someone from JWPL. Okay. That's news to me, positive vibrations. I have not seen any updated. Okay, yeah. So Real Mona FC's Shanae Ashley. Okay, I'm looking at JFF Instagram now. Call up to the senior Reggae Girlz squad 18 hours ago. Yeah, so I didn't even see this. So we'll have to do some research on Shanae. All right, so big up to Shanae getting in the team. I don't see them say that who she has replaced on this post. So that would be interesting to see and find out who. Maybe while I'm doing this program, sometimes I tend to find when I'm doing these programs, people send me information while it's going. So let's see if anybody is tuning in and sends that to me. But I will be sending out my feelers to try and find that info. But thanks for that update, positive vibrations. I would have seen it because I had the Instagram on my other screen. I was going to click to show the squad. So thanks for that. heads up there. Setup is the same. The girls just don't suffer fools. I'm doing different sports on my channel, Prem contents, and I'm starting to do Jamaica contents. All right, so I'm gonna go and show Jordan some support. It look like he might dive into the Jamaican area now. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go over there and drop a like and a subscribe on all I'm content. All right, a good youth. Man, I have to get to World Cup first. The Concacaf W Championship won't be easy. Yeah, positive vibration. The way I answered that question, I definitely had that in my mind. Like, you know, you're kind of going a bit too far here, Alex, but hey, I'll let Alex live and just answer him question, you know. I don't think because we qualified, we should expect that they should go further. We are still not a world-class team. Yeah, well, Duke, I'm just basing it off of how I see our fans operate. If we have done something before, we want to get there. Meeks wants some elaboration from I had one. Let me just get my requisite hatred out the way. Out with the coach. Now I can move on. Yeah. I had one has never been a fan of our current coach. And I am sorry I had one, but right now we're about to get him his thoughts up and gunning. So bear with us as we play his press conference here. So we're gonna get this footage courtesy of JFF Live. Simon and the coach, and also we had some questions from the media as well. The girls typically have their press conferences over Zoom, so yours truly gets a chance to go when I have the time, and I was there for this one. So yeah, man, we're gonna listen to it, and sending out your feelers for the girls sounds sus. Nothing sus about sending out feelers for girls, sir. I believe you have that one wrong. Bless up Gooner, Wagwan. That's Eddie Gooner. Yeah, man, and support Eddie Gooner as well. All the content creators, and go support them. They're putting out content and work for you. You might not agree with all of them or how they do their thing, but you can get information from anywhere, people. So do not think you can't. And hearing the other side's perspective or any perspective that doesn't mesh with yours is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because when you're having these discussions, you need to understand the point of view so you can better speak to everybody. That's the way I see it, at least. So yeah, man, that's my philosophy. That's why I will, if I have the time, I will watch content from everybody. Let me just get requisite hatred out the way. Okay, we got that already. The entire drama with the World Cup money pay. The girls remove themselves from selection as a unit. Also, they turn up and play without seemingly allowing drama to affect the result. Jordan said he did champs in March. Bless up, Conrad. One Barca today. Yeah, man, I was thinking about doing a live stream today, but I think I'm just going to watch the games in peace. And I might have some running around to do, the super dad that I am. So I don't know if I can give myself to the YouTube streets for the Champions League. But next week, I will be doing the Arsenal second leg. I promise you that. So that will be the Real Madrid and Arsenal kind of watch party. Of course, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'll be watching that mainly. Hopefully, we can seal it up, and I can give some time to the Real Madrid Bayern game as well. So look out for that. So content forwarding on the channel, people. Took a little, wouldn't even say hiatus. I just was kind of over everything that happened with the Reggae Boys, and I just couldn't bring myself to make content. I couldn't. Like, I just didn't have the vibe to make the content. So I took a break, recharged the batteries, and we're back now. So let's get right into it, people. We're about 20 minutes in. So let's go ahead and get this ball on the road. So big up Jampiel. Definitely tune in as well to Jampiel. One of the best, I think, when it comes down to breaking down the JPL and the games. Love his review shows. And yeah, definitely Jampiel fan. You guys go support. Every time the vultures try to impose themselves on the female program, the performance dips. Think about it. That's true. That is very true. I mean, that whole time frame was a sad time. You know, we couldn't even make it to they had the first Women's Gold Cup and we didn't make it. You know, that's sad. All right, let's get the squad announcement up. And you guys let me know by virtue of dropping thumbs up.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for your presence this morning virtually. It's the squad announcement press conference for the Reggae Girlz, the Jamaica Senior Women's National Team, ahead of the upcoming Concacaf W Championship qualifiers against Guyana and Antigua and Barbuda, respectively. Antigua and Barbuda on April 10, and Guyana on April 18. This will be the first time that our senior women's national team will be on home soil since November 2024, when we took on South Africa in a pair of friendlies in Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica. And as we know, these two games are crucial in order to qualify for the Concacaf W Championship, which is set to take place in November. The venue for that final tournament is still to be decided. So we're joined with the head coach of the Reggae Girlz, Coach Busby, who will share some opening remarks.
So hear that, people? They're qualifying for the Concacaf W Championships, which will be in that November international window. And they will know after that whether they have qualified for the World Cup.
Remarks, and then he will get straight into the squad. Good morning, Coach. Over to you.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, our distinguished guests. Hope your week is off to a great start. Just before we announce the squad for the upcoming games, I just want to take this opportunity to wish Coach Speed, the staff, and of course the boys all the best tonight on what we know will be a historic win that will take us to our second World Cup. So just want to wish everyone over there.
And we know what happened there.
There in Mexico all the best tonight. So with that said, Simon, could you please share the screen? We'll go through the roster. All right, for the upcoming games against Antigua and Guyana, we will have goalkeepers Sydney Schneider, Rebecca Spencer, Leah Brooks, defenders Tiana Harris, Chantel Swaby, Vianne Sampson, Cameron Simmons, Amelia Van Zanten, Allison Swaby. All
right, so I'm just going to stop it right there real quick. So the goalkeepers pretty much can close your eyes and pick those three. I had one has said this, and I agree with her. The goalkeeper pool, we need to figure that out. I think right now we have a goalkeeper in Rebecca Spencer that, based on the last window, was a bit. There were some worrying signs for me. Didn't look to have the same mobility. Just didn't look the same as she has in the past. I'm wondering if that's just, it's becoming that time. She's been playing for a while. Is it that she doesn't get enough game time at Chelsea? I tend to think it's the second thing I said, the whole lack of game time at Chelsea. So, I think going into this November championship, it's going to be crucial this summer that Rebecca Spencer figures out a situation where she can be playing. I think she's too good to be sitting down on Chelsea's bench and barely playing any games. I don't think she's played but once or twice this season in some cup matches. So it's not the ideal situation. I think Sydney Snyder, look, Sydney Snyder, if you remember, was our starting goalkeeper the first time we made it to the World Cup, right? And, was good, was very good. I remember, and my father and I have this discussion all the time. He still in his mind thinks that Sydney Snyder is just as good as Spencer, right? He knows Spencer is good, but he also thinks that Sydney Snyder is good. I think the problem with Sydney is her career has, professionally has not gone the way she would want, I'm sure. She was an NWSL goalkeeper at one point, on the bench for some teams, never really got that starting status in the NWSL. But now currently she's playing in the league below, which is the Super League for Tampa Bay. And, it's been a couple of seasons in this league, and she's kind of been the starter for some of it. Then she goes on the bench currently. In the last, 4 games, I think, in the season, she hasn't started. Leah Brooks is still in college at UNC. Of course, they are not in their season right now. They're in their spring season. So where the goalkeepers are concerned, there's a bit of a worry. And I think going into that November window, when we face this tougher opposition to qualify, we're really going to have to hope that these players, oh, so that's who it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's who it is. Now, I had one has mentioned here, and please buy the coach a proper webcam. That would be nice. Decent squad, good for chemistry, a little top heavy with forwards though. Yes, the mall, that's a good observation. That was going to be a part. That's one of my topics actually when I do break down the squad in full. They play regardless of coaching, quality of play is very evidently different. Example, my theory is folly is why we lost Hines. We can see in body language when foolery is afoot, they push through. Green from Real Mona needs to be elevated to senior training under Becky. Yeah, I had mentioned this goalkeeper to me, Green from Real Mona. Young player as well. And yeah, just looks to be somebody that they can definitely try to get in some better situations. Definitely has the potential and the talent. Becky put on a little condition. I'd say she'd be having a health diet. Yeah. It's I tried to keep the way I described it, but yeah, the mobility is compromised. I think Sid is clubless. I do think Sid is better. My opinion is we broke Sid by dropping her for Becky instead of rotating starts. Interesting. I don't really fully agree with the whole us not playing her for Jamaica kind of broker thing. I don't agree with that. It's not that she's clubless, she is still on Tampa Bay's team. She just is on the bench. I think she had a little spell where she was injured as well. And then since she's been back, she hasn't been able to get back the starting role. They have a younger goalkeeper that has been playing over her, and she's been doing pretty decent. Let me check something. I'm just looking at some recent yeah, so Tampa have like 3 goalkeepers and all of them getting a few minutes. Big up Danny Dread. What go on, my bro? Hope all is well with you. I see this goalkeeper SL Abby Smith talking about Jamaican food, wondering if she has heritage good keeper. Well, I know that the brass do watch these programs, so yeah, man, we can look into the whole Abby Smith thing and see what go on there. She play for Denver Summit, 32 years of age. Have some good numbers so far this season. She was a reserve keeper for Houston and then made the transfer over. Denver is I think they're a new franchise this year, I believe. Healthy all around. No, not Sydney. I have no confidence in her. Yeah, I don't think she has confidence in herself currently either. Well, it's saying that. All right, let me check the club Instagram. Hold on. Tampa Bay Sun FCIG Insta. Because it's showing on the like football app that she is in the team sheet for the last. Yeah, man, the last starting 11 listed 2 days ago. Snyder is there on the bench. So she's there. She's still at the club. I think she had a couple of months where she was out injured because she wasn't getting listed in the match day squad. Yep, Donaldson did have her at Chicago. That is true. Imagine this in Sid when she did miraculous things in the first World Cup. Guys, come on, don't do her like that. Y'all broke her confidence. Yeah, I just think her club career hasn't pushed on. I can't say it's the Reggae Girlz killed their confidence because she was drafted, getting on big teams, but she couldn't get no game. Chicago, she couldn't get no game. She got into this Super League team where, for what she's done in her career so far, you would think she'd be a nailed on starter. She can't really hold down the starting spot in the Super League either. So, I think she has to look inward as well. And I think in the international game, these things are going to happen, especially a country like Jamaica that's growing in profile. You're going to have the pool of players open up, and sometimes some better players come in. Becky was on the type of form where she wasn't really droppable. the last cycle. So, I mean, those things are going to happen.
Midfielders will include Sade.
Oh, and as far as the defense goes, immediately Vian Sampson back in the team. I always liked her. Think she's a Swiss Army knife, can give you some midfield cover, can play centre back as well. I personally like her more as a centre back, but we'll see what the coach does with her in this window. And Mimi Van Zanten as well. People were worried that she might be, choosing greener pastures, but I always had in mind that once she got into the pro ranks and got going, that she would be back in the team. It would just be too much to see her sister going on these trips, playing with Jamaica, and for her not to want to be there with her. I always thought once Kiki was here, that Mimi was, nothing's a sure shot, but I never felt that badly about that one.
Adam Malukin, Atlanta Primus, Drew Spence, Trudy Carter, Denisha Blackwood. And our forwards will be Kayla McKenna, Natasha Thomas, Kadisha Bunny Shaw, Shania Hales, Jody Brown, Paige Bailey Gale, Solai Washington, Kiki Van Zanten, and Chanel Buckley.
All right, so that's the team right there. Interesting one. I think somebody mentioned it earlier, a little top heavy with the forwards. It's kind of funny when you look at this squad compared to the Reggae Boys squad just now that we played in the playoffs. We were trying to identify number nines, maybe one real number 9, and then the rest kind of wide forward / central forwards. In this team now, it's an abundance of number 9s. Kayla McKenna, Natasha Thomas, Khadijah Shaw, Shania Hales could all be considered number 9s. So it's just funny how, the pool of players may be a little bit different, more on offer here. But yeah, light defensively, if you're looking at it. But I won't spoil, because that was one of my questions and thoughts in real time at the press conference. So I'll let you guys hear that first if you haven't heard this yet. But I'm just gonna let it play some more, and then I'll keep stopping when I want to comment.
We'll round out the squad. All right, so that will be the squad for these match day 3 and 4. I'll open up the floor now to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Coach. So just a reminder to raise your hand, and once you're indicated, then you can be able to pose your question to Coach Busby. Thank you very much.
Ever since my dermatologist recommended use of Radiant Tone, I'm kind of obsessed with the results. I just keep getting better.
Few fought harder.
Channel star. Trump and Newt. People in that move like them afraid for acts,
Reminder folks to raise your hand before you pose your question. I'm not seeing any raise hand icons at the moment, but I'll give you a moment to use the raise hand feature. All right, let's start with Jason Hall. Good morning, Jason. Go ahead.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach Busby. Jason Hall, Jason Gooner TV here. Coach, I see the squad. I think it's a well-balanced squad. I like the squad here. I just wanted a question on some of the players that would have made their way into NWSL. How pleased have you been with their transition to professional football? I noticed that they've been getting a lot of minutes as rookies in the league. So just how pleased are you with their progression with their respective clubs?
Yeah, it's a great point, and appreciate you being that observant or following the players, and that's great to see as well from your end. Yeah, no, look, I think, we tried to get Soleil and Mimi in the last squad, but unfortunately, they're just in the midst of preseason and carrying 1 or 2 knocks that they wanted to take precautions on, so they missed out in the last squad. But they've started the season really well, as you can see. I mean, they've started most of the games that they've been in, or 2/3 of the games that they've played the last couple of games. Soleil started. Mimi's been a mainstay. I think even one of the games on her debut was woman of the match, and Cameron Simmons has come on and done really well also. So yeah, I mean, look, we're glad to have them back into the squad, and they're doing really well within their environments, and they're definitely worthy of a call back into the squad.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Jason. Let's now hear from Gregory. Bryce, go ahead, Gregory.
Yes, if you heard that there, basically I just wanted him to speak to the success that our younger reggae girls have had, the ones that transitioned from the college game to the pros. Soleil Washington, Mimi Van Zanten, Cameron Simmons, they all, got into first teams in the NWSL, and not only got into the first teams, but prominently featuring in the first, 3-4 games of the season. So I just wanted him to elaborate a bit on that and how pleased he was with that progression. These are players that we would have been putting faith in since they were in college. And, some might have been like, hey, maybe we could find some professionals instead. The coach was willing to stick with them, stick by them throughout that whole process. And now that they are full professionals, kind of some vindication for their selection based on this being one of the best leagues in world football in the women's game, and they're able to come in as younger players and solidify themselves with key spots in each team. So that's a good look for these younger players.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Gregory. A bit low, but go ahead.
I just joined the meeting, so I'm not sure if the question was asked yet. But with these two games being the first game on Jamaican soil, we passed the hurdle that was the crowd was. How do we really keep ensuring that finish the group strong as well as give the fans something to look forward to going championship option?
Yeah, I believe you're asking about the squad and coming out of the Nicaragua match. Yeah, and listen, I think first and foremost, credit to the players. I've said it going in. It was a tricky tie going in. It's never easy to go and win on Central American soil. It's never easy to travel there. You throw in the turf and different conditions surrounding the game made it a very difficult tie. I do think, upon reflection and watching the game 3 or 4 times now, I thought, as I maintained probably on the day, that if we put away our chances kind of earlier on, the game would have kind of taken a different shape, but it didn't. So we had to find a way, having gone down 1 goal early and just obviously getting in tied it before half. I think a couple of changes that have made a difference, livelied up, tweaked 1 or 2 things. So really pleased on how those players or how the team reacted. I still think at times you could have managed the game a bit better. But, the 2 things in terms of the objectives going into that match was one, ensure we get the 3 points, which we did, and 2, make sure that our players left there healthy. And that was obviously obtained. So credit to the players, credit to the staff, I've said before, for getting the players ready for that match. So as we head into this one on home soil, it's great. Players haven't been in for over a year now. I know they're excited to come in and
I already have the squad.
Apologies, Coach. It looks like you're muted. You could just unmute your microphone.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that was muted. So yeah, and obviously now going back and playing on home soil, I know the players are very excited to play in front of the Jamaican people, and obviously we're excited to the fact that we can be back on home soil, and I know the crowd will have a good crowd on both games. So yeah, just really looking forward to the 2 matches in the upcoming weeks.
Yo, people, I can't stress enough what the man just said a while ago. Listen, these girls, right? We don't, the way the women's game in Concacaf is kind of formatted. Most of the bigger games we play will probably take place somewhere else. The W Championship is the qualifier, so we don't get home games against those, bigger teams, right? So it's imperative that if you guys want to show the support that I believe you do have for this team, because I think they're a beloved team in Jamaica. Honestly, I think a lot of people love the Jamaica Reggae Girls. They do. Maybe it's a love that's just born out of success, and it is what it is. someone like me, I just love them because I kind of like the way they play. I like how the girls carry themselves in their careers and stuff. But regardless, they need the support, and I'm just hopeful that we do go out there and show that support that they do deserve, because I just look, I'm not expecting a Curacao crowd. Obviously, that would be asking for more than probably is possible, but I just hope that it's a good crowd. It's a good crowd. The girls feel their presence. If we can get 15, 20 in there, I would be cool with that. So I just hope that the people them come out, man, for both games. Friday night, it's not a bad time, 7 o'clock. Leave work a little early, head over there, can get there for kickoff or a little before. And the same goes for the following Saturday. Just come on, let's do a good showing over the 2 games as fans. Please, that's my hope and plea to the supporters. You never ask about the omission of Izzy. No, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't ask about any omissions. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't ask about that. Maybe because I'm looking at the team and I'm saying, okay, in where Izzy plays, right? Maybe he could have gone one less forward and put another midfielder. That's probably something he could have done. I'm thinking maybe he's looking at Vian as a viable option in there as well, with Atlanta and Drew in that midfield area. Adam Aleken is a converted central midfielder. So, of those 4 players, I would say probably Sade or Izzy was probably the selection. I think Atlanta and Drew are probably ahead of Izzy right now in the pecking order, if you ask the coach. So yeah, it's really a, do you drop one of your forwards, because you are forward heavy? Paige, Bailey, Gill is there, Buckley is there, Trudy is there, Soleil, Kiki. So that's a lot of attacking players. Jody Brown as well. Can all of them play over the course of 2 games? Probably not. Probably not. So let's see. We say 1,500 is a good crowd. Boy, I was hoping 15,000. Not 1,500. Not sure it's love for them. Most people just don't know enough about them to cuss. So them can't say this a person are the worst because them don't know them. Maybe speed will bring a crew. Boy, I hope so. A crew of a couple thousand. Bless up low. Oh, go on. Yeah, man, almost 40 of you in the building. Please make sure you guys are smashing up the like button.
Thank you, Gregory. Monique, Layla, go ahead. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Coach. Good morning to my fellow journalists here. Coach, all right, 2 quick questions. I noticed the absence of Kanye Plummer. Is that due to an injury?
So you guys are just like State Farm, right?
And the second one, Trudy Carter, she's making her return. What are your expectations from her for these 2 games?
Yeah, obviously, Kanye is out due to an injury. Thought she was going to be able to make it in, but unfortunately, she could not. Kind of occurred. We thought she'd be good. It's going to occur an injury that's occurred a couple of weeks ago that we thought was on the mend, but unfortunately, we didn't think that she was going to be healthy for the entire duration. So we brought in some other players instead, but we hope to get her back in the next window. Nothing serious, thankfully. So obviously her leadership, both on and off the pitch, and her presence just in general will be missed. We've got a couple of players who have started preseason with the likes of Tiffany as well, Cameron, who's just starting preseason, and Naya Cordorza, who's at Halifax, both of them. So they're kind of getting into the swing of things a little bit behind the NWSL periodization calendar. So we'll obviously monitor them and see where they go in. As far as Trudy, look, she's been with the likes of Tiffany, and her presence just in general will be missed. We've got a couple of players who have started preseason with the likes of Tiffany as well, Cameron, who's just starting preseason, and Naya Cordorza, who's at Halifax, both of them. So they're kind of getting into the swing of things a little bit behind the NWSL periodization calendar. So we'll obviously monitor them and see where they go in. As far as Trudy, look, she's been doing really well in Mexico. She started off really well, had a few injuries, got back in, played. Still, consistent minutes, whether she's starting or coming off the bench. I'm sure, obviously, both her and the club would probably want her to be a little bit more productive, but obviously that is the game sometimes. But she had a great camp in Nicaragua, and looking forward to her to build on that into this camp. So it's all there for her to play for, and she's got 2 weeks ahead for her to continue to impress.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. Any further questions? A reminder to raise your hand, especially to those individuals that have joined in recently, to raise your hand to pose your question to Coach Busby. Thank you. Okay, Gregory, you have one more. Go ahead.
That's it. Another player as well, I think I want to ask was Julia Brown. He's another competition in the last squad she's back now. How much is he following her time in Marseille as well, and what was the introduction into the squad in terms of the attacking defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you look into the squad, the likes of Jody and Paige Bailey-Gale, Denisha, they're very flexible. They can play in multiple positions. Cameron Simmons can play in multiple positions, and so they give us versatility. With the likes of Jody, she was again another one who probably would have been into the squad, got injured, was out for a bit of time, but has found her way back in and playing well in Marseille. And again, it takes a lot when you're adjusting to a new country, new surroundings, language, all the other things that come with moving country. But obviously, we know what she can do, and very excited to have her back into the squad. So yeah, she's back in, and look forward to see what how she links up with her teammates again after being out from last camp.
Thank you, Gregory. Any further questions? All right, Jason, one more from you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach. Just fully looking at the squad some more as I'm listening to you talk here, and I'm noticing maybe an abundance of forwards and maybe less defenders. Is it that you see some of the players in this list as multifaceted, so that you can fill certain positions? Most notably, I would say at the fullback position. How do you hope to cope with that? With, of course, 2 games in this window, hopefully everybody can come through the games well, but it looks like you might have to do some adjusting there. How do you see that?
Well, as I alluded to, and it's a good point, as I alluded to, you've got Denisha Blackwood, who can play as a fullback. Paige Bailey-Gale, who was in last camp, was slotted into a couple of positions, and then actually did really well, and probably unfortunate not to get on the pitch after having the camp that she had. And so, one of the things going forward is going to be players' versatility, to be able to play in multiple positions. When I say multiple positions, or positions that are linked. So, you're talking about a full back into a wide midfield role, depending on the opposition, a central role, whether we're playing the pocket and attacking mid. You can also maybe play out wide in different roles, but making sure that we put the players in their best position to get the best out of them is obviously something that we're cautious of, or conscious of rather. But I think it shows the flexibility and the tactical flexibility of having players like that who can do multiple things at different times. And so whether a fullback or a wing back, players who can step into midfield as well, like the likes of Jody Brown, as I mentioned, is very crucial, because it allows for us to do different things tactically. But other than the goalkeepers, I think everyone is pretty balanced. Vian Sampson, has played in midfield as well, but currently playing in the back line with her club in Japan. So credit to the players. Their versatility is what gets them into the squad, and their consistency within their environment has also been noticed, and the reason why they're in their squad. So yes, it's very, very important to have players who are quite versatile, because it allows us to do different things.
Quickest way to improve vision.
This is the quickest way to improve it.
Get blind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Jason. Monique, go ahead.
Coach, just another one. The NWSL season.
Hold on. Before I let Monique get her point across, I wanted to highlight this comment again. It seems they are only selling grandstand tickets and they are 5,000 a pop. Attendance are going to look rough. So why? Why would they not be selling bleachers tickets? I hope this is, well, you would know, Marlon, because you're there. So I'm going to take you at face value here and just ask the question, why? What's the thinking behind this? So JFF, please, somebody go in the comment section and just explain what's going on with this, because this don't make any sense to me. Good question, Brown man. You know, the photo man that them have there with the team, I guess them don't have one of those for the girls, you know, which is kind of sad. You know, JFF Live was there in Mexico, traveling around, getting clips. Are they going to be around this camp? You know, that's the question. The promotion for the match is horrible. Derek G says, I am not impressed with this coach. Do you think a female coach would get more out of these girls? I think a better coach would. You know, I think Busby is detail oriented. I'll give him that. I haven't been overly impressed with anything I've seen tactically from him. But I think, in fairness, I think there's been some factors he's had to deal with when he's played really good opposition in this whole build-up to these qualifiers. You know, I don't think he's ever had the access to all the players at any given time. And I don't think that these games in this qualifying section, apart from that Nicaragua game, which I think was tough, and he mentioned it in his press conference, you know, I haven't been... I'm more impressed with him, how he carries himself and speaks, right? I think he holds himself pretty well in these press conferences. But, you know, that's not the end all be all of coaching. So, you know, I think the fact that he was kind of, prior to this, mainly an assistant, it kind of, to me, I get that sense when he's in game as well, that he's kind of more used to being the one that they go to for advice, or the one bringing something to the coach, like an idea. And it's not an easy transition for everybody to go from that role to the head coach. And maybe that's something he's still trying to find his feet with. But you do make a good point a little further down about the situation with FIFA, how they have said that a female must be on the coaching staff by a certain time. And is this a good opportunity for them to hire a top female coach? Now, when you look at Haiti, for example, they were able to get the services of Pia Sonhaga, who, if you follow the women's game, you know that's like a legendary coach, right? Coached the US to Olympics, World Cups. You know, I believe she was at one point the coach of Brazil as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know she's had some other big jobs as well. But yeah, definitely well-renowned. And for Haiti to get that coach to guide them in this campaign is a big coup. And it just kind of opened my eyes up to say, well, if they're able to get a coach like that, I would think that many top coaches in the female game would look at a Bonnie Shaw, a Drew Spence, you know, some of the other players that we have in the roster, the region we play in, and the ability to play against teams like USA, Canada regularly. You know, to me, that would be a good draw for any top coach. Now, we always know the finances, the money might not match up how we want it to, but I am of the impression if Pia Sonhaga is coaching Haiti, Jamaica can get pretty much any coach in the world. Honestly, I don't see how they couldn't. If Haiti can get Pia Sonhaga, how Jamaica couldn't get a coach of that level, I just wouldn't. I don't see how you could have convinced me of that. But this is a good question as well. When are the girls supposed to arrive? They probably have, and there's just no fanfare around it like when the boys arrive. Dial-up technology. Yes, they have. Maybe we need a town crier. I don't know 100% for sure, but they're only advertising the 5,000 price tag. Okay. Yeah, man, I say a good coach, period. I would volunteer to be their photographer. Dukeland, I'm sure that there are a bunch of media personnel out there that would do that too. But yeah, I don't think they're really utilizing the resources. You know, they're just saying, well, we don't have people to do it on our end. Well, they bring someone in that can do it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that lack of charisma, I think, is what makes him a better assistant. Like you said, his information is good. You can see that he follows the players and he tracks the players. A lot of the things I'm thinking he might bring up, he brings up, right? So I know he's paying attention, but yeah, does he have that galvanizing ability? Does he have that charisma to get a group to want to run through a brick wall? I don't think he's really exhibited those things. So you're spot on there. I had one. I don't think that he has that commanding presence, you know, like he's tall, you know, in that sense, yes, but you're right. The way he delivers the message sometimes, it can be quite, monotone, based on past remarks, it costs too much to rent the entire stadium seating and the return is not there. Ah, okay, Brando, thanks for that. Remuneration will be, yes, it will. Remuneration will be. That is true. But damn, man, how the hell Haiti do it? I think Haiti is more appealing posting versus Jamaica, which it should be argued they have similar players, but I think Haiti has more of a ceiling to reach versus Jamaica. But that's me. Africans, I don't know if I agree with you. I think they both teams have basically the two stars, right? Now, Dumane is younger than Bonnie, yes. So maybe the ceiling for her to continue to get better is more, right? But I think we have the history on our side of getting there, So that's the other thing that's why I think it kind of levels the playing field. Even if you think Haiti's pool is younger and there's more growth possibility there, they don't have the history we have in terms of getting over the line yet. So, yeah, I don't. That's like I said. Like I haven't been impressed with him tactically at all. What has impressed me is his detail. Um, I think he's, for the most part, if I see a player out there that's doing well, he's included them or even spoken about them. So I know he's in his mind. They're in his mind, right? So those are the things I like, and that's why I think as an assistant or a part of the program, I don't think he would be the worst thing in the world. Now, obviously we're not talking about the elephant in the room here, which once we figure out where that championship is going to be held in November, we'll know for sure what's going on there, because conveniently he hasn't ever coached us in the United States. So there's that as well, which I didn't even get into, but that must be a factor as well. He gets out coached. We also have young upcoming players as well. Yeah, I don't agree with Africans in terms of Haiti having like this bigger ceiling or whatever, or it's more appealing. I don't agree with that, because they don't have nowhere to play. That's one, which obviously isn't the end of the world, because Haiti qualified, the men qualified for the World Cup with the same situation. But yeah, I just don't think that it's such a, I don't think there's a wide gap between the two jobs, And maybe you weren't saying it was a wide gap, but I don't even think there's a difference between the two or one being better than the other. I don't think so. I mean, we have plenty young talent coming up, so that's something that's changing. Top midfielder versus a top striker. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We need an edgy coach with dad or mom energy. Be stern and scold, but also be empathetic. Keep it real. Coach from the coach. We said that's what he'll do in the championship. It'll be Darren Burton. All right, I think
started about, I think 3 weeks ago. I think they're 3 games in, and I've seen the Houston that's that's Kiki's team, and San Diego, where Amelia plays for, and both of them have started and have looked really good. Kiki scored a double last week. What are your thoughts on both of them and how they've started the season and your expectation coming into the Reggae Girlz camp?
Yeah, it was unique. I think we were all glued to our screens a couple of weeks ago when Kiki was due to go up against her sister in that match. And one played one half and came off, and one played on the other half. So it was good to see them. What a proud moment for them, proud moment for their family, and proud moment for us as well to see them do well. And again, you know, when you speak about versatility, you know, Kiki plays wide, she can play inside of that pocket, plays areas where sometimes she plays for us as well. At times last week, they played in a 2-front. She played up top in a 2-front, and they're doing well. And again, that's credit to the players, their ability to adapt to whatever tactical requirements are needed. And again, what is important is that what they're asked to do in their club, they might be asking similar roles to do with us, or sometimes it's completely different. But they've both really hit the season. They both started the season really well, and I wish for all of them to continue, and wish for all of them to stay healthy, which is obviously the main important thing for us heading into this crucial time of year.
Thank you very much, Monique. Any further questions this morning?
I think that's
This morning. Very much, members. I look forward to early. It's the first time that our senior women's national team will be on home soil since November, December of 2024. So we look forward to your support there to help our.
Yeah. So to my point earlier about, making sure we go out and support, like Simon just said, last time we would have seen them is November, December 24, and it's going to be something similar probably as you go to the championship will be next, and then after that there'll probably be friendlies to play before hopefully qualifying for that World Cup in the summer. So chances are this will be the last time you get to see the girls before they play in potentially their next World Cup. So just kind of let that sink in. If you're a fan of the team and you're in Jamaica, this is something that you don't get to see very often. And for that reason, I think you should really make all the effort you can to go ahead and support the team. Now, let me get I think I have a file of this somewhere. Actually, I'll just do it on here. So let me just get on the screen again. So is that not gonna go away? All right, so I have the squad. So let me just put it up right here, just so we can go through it and think real quick. All right, so we said earlier the goalkeepers: Snyder, Spencer Brooks, Tiana Harris, Chantel Swaby, Vian Sampson, Cameron Simmons, Mimi Van Zanten, and Alison Swaby. Midfielders: Sade Adama-Lakon, Atlanta Primus, Drew Spence, Trudy Carter, then Blackwood. Forwards: Kayla McKenna, Natasha Thomas, Khadija Shaw, Shania Hales, Jody Brown, Paige Bailey-Gill, Soleil Washington, Kiki Van Zanten, and Shaniel Buckley. So those are the names in the squad. And I want to just show a little bit of some of the players, what they've been up to, how they've been playing, who's starting, who's not getting a bunch of starts. I think that would be nice to do because some of you might not be fully aware of what the players have been up to. So all right, so we have, if the JFF went to need us, they might chip in to get in a top tier coach. JFF short-sighted. If we play well in big games, the jersey will sell and more from profit sharing. What I like with this coach is that he seems to keep up with what they're doing at their clubs. Yeah, I don't think anybody can level that against this coach. He definitely is aware of what's going on. We're not a bad team. However, it's obvious we have many weaknesses. Don't expect technical superiority over top-ranked teams. Yeah, agreed. I think that's what has surprised me the most with him tactically. I don't think he's show the level of respect to some teams that we should. Maybe it was all trying to play differently against these teams might have been what he was after. Just saying, listen, we're not going to play a mid-low block against these teams. We're just going to try to play against them toe-to-toe. And that made us get some really bad results. And I hope that he was just doing it to try to, use it as an exercise to say, okay, if we're ever in a situation where we need to play against a team like this, what can we do? What will we be able to do? But let's see, like, when the games matter more, if he is indeed the coach during the championship, then yeah. Yes, that's why it's just Sade, Yes, it's one person. All right, so let's get some info up on the screens from the players then. So we're gonna go to SofaScore because the women's game is expanding, and SofaScore is realizing that people want to track the girls as well. So they are doing a better job of late of having different leagues in it. So we're gonna work with that until we can't anymore. And I will try to show you guys just what the players have been up to so you guys know. All right. So Rebecca Spencer, goalkeeper, starter for Jamaica, but we can't say the same for her at her club. She's 35 years of age now, just turned 35 in February, and she basically, like I said, doesn't play for her club team. Makes the bench every week in, week out, trains every week in, week out. Hasn't had any injuries or anything, but yeah, it's been rough this season as far as game time is concerned. I think November of this season was, the first time she would have actually made a bench for Chelsea. And then after that, now she's been pretty much making all the benches right through November, December, January, February, and then had a little break for about a month, and then March going right on back. But just not getting in the matches at all. So that is Rebecca Spencer again. Hopefully, she's turning up in a little bit better shape, because I did definitely see a difference in her mobility in the last round. And again, we're gonna have to be looking keenly at what she's been up to now. Leah Brooks hasn't really had game time since the season ended in the fall of 2025. And she wasn't the starter for UNC. She had transferred, I think she was at University of Washington on the West Coast, but she transferred to UNC. Very storied program, a lot of big ballers have come through UNC program. So it's a decorated place to be. And hopefully, when the fall rolls back around, which is the main season, Leah Brooks would have earned the starting role. But she hasn't really played much football apart from playing spring football at the university, I would think. Sometimes when you're in university as well, you might play some local, like, semi-pro leagues or something. So she could very well be doing some of that as well. But I am not really certain on that. So I'll just call it that she hasn't really played much football either. I'm not spelling Sydney's name right. I think I am. All right, so there's Sydney Schneider. And as I was saying earlier, she hasn't been able to nail down the starting spot. Her last start for Tampa Bay would have been December the 20th. She had a little spell out of the team due to some injury until late January. She was on the bench again. And then the last 3 fixtures they would have played, she has been on the bench for them, dating, I think, as recently as April the 5th. So, when you look at her season overall, she has started 11 games out of, I think they have played what? I think Tampa Bay is up to about 20 odd games now. Yeah, 22. So she started exactly half of the 22 games that her club would have played in this season so far. And her last start wasn't since December the 20th. So not the ideal situation for her at the club level either. And again, this is an area of the pitch where I think we really need to get that sorted out. Yeah, true. They said Mansi just mash up Spain. We need some new blood, younger goalkeeper along with Leah to start going into the next cycle. Becky shouldn't be the main focus goalkeeper-wise going to the next World Cup, in my opinion. So, JB, when you say the next World Cup, you mean like this one coming up or 2031? Because I don't think you can dash with Becky for this cycle based on nobody coming through right now. Yeah, she's still our best. Big up Gunners. Yeah, man. I'll give Gunners some support as well. Drop some really informative videos, really good editing, clean. Yeah, man. So give him some support as well over on Gunners Media. She's tactically a genius with the female, so I would gamble on her. Plus, she's out of a job. All right. But those tactics lost the Euros. She got Spain. Like Bumper Store got Chelsea, already a well-oiled machine. Yeah. It's not a good sign if you can't win with Spain in today's thing still, to be honest. That team is incredible. Yeah, so Becky, Leah, and Sydney, not in the best situation right now. All right, so let's move on to the defenders. So look, all you scouts out there watching football, finding players like myself, let's put our heads together. That girl from Real Mona, we're watching you, Alan. I have to give Ayadwan the shout out there because she told me to look out for that girl, and I made sure to watch some games of her, and I was very impressed with her. She have a lot of potential. Yeah, she did look like her mobility was compromised, Chorus. Yes, I agree. All right, so let's move on to the defenders. Now, the first one is one that I was extremely excited about when I heard we were going after her. And that is Tiana Harris. She's still shown here as a Canadian international or Canadian citizen, which I'm sure she still is, but she is now permanently a Jamaican international at the football level. I think she has, 3 games now under her belt for Jamaica, but she is in probably a tough situation over there in Portugal. She's in the first division, but as you can see in the Campeonato, her team is rooted in the relegation spot. 15 matches played, only 8 points. So she's on a team playing defense. I think she plays in a back 3 in the middle, and she's always under pressure. So her performances this season leave a lot to be desired as far as ratings are concerned. But brother, I've watched her team play, and every game they are so outmatched. It's not even funny. So she has started 14 of the 15 games they have played. One thing about her, she did miss a game due to the red. She had one game where she had to stay out. And again, like I said, she's constantly under serious pressure in this team. So I wouldn't let the yellow cards kind of kill her. I just feel like her team is really bad, man. And the hope is that with her profile hopefully raising, being an international with Jamaica, she's well respected inside her club. She's the club captain. And so, when you look around the league, a lot of times, if you have a good player on a bad team, the next obvious step is them going to one of the better teams in the league. So the Sportings of the world, these other clubs in the league with her, Benfica, Torrens, these better teams, Braga even, hopefully they'll look at a player like Tiana Harris and say, hey, we need to rescue her from the situation she's in. One thing that I love about Tiana's game, and it's very noticeable when you see her play, you see where it says both feet right here? They did not lie. She's pretty competent with both of her feet, whether it's long passing, short passing. I do think in the Nicaragua game, there was a bit of nerves, honestly, based on her distribution not being the cleanest. I was actually really, really impressed with what's my girl name? With Kanya Plummer. I thought that her distribution has improved immensely since she's been over there in Turkey. And I was kind of sad that she had an injury and couldn't come into this squad because I was one that was kind of thinking that she was just there off a sentiment, right? Because she missed the last World Cup, was there as the captain of the first one, stalwart in the back. And, she has had some family life changes, had some kids, and, she wasn't able to go through the cycle the last time with us. Now she's back. gone overseas, playing well this season for is it Fenerbahce she's at? Yeah, I think it's Fenerbahce she's at. And yeah, she's doing her thing. So her missing this window is a loss, but I think Tiana Harris' presence will help to make up for that. And also, I think a couple of players that I'm going to talk about soon as well will help in making up for the loss of Kanya Plummer being in the squad this time around. But Tiana Harris again, I think a player that's going to help us. I think you're going to see the big I think you're gonna see the benefit of her being around when we get to that championship. Her not really experience at this level, but her ability to communicate and her ability, period, is gonna be very helpful when we face these better opponents. Yep, Green from Real Mona. Yeah, I have to give you the credit for that one. Made me go and do some research on her. Tiana, wow. Yeah. Tiana is easy to look at, Yeah, absolutely. So I think Jean-Pierre, it's pretty easy to see how this one was linked. I would be shocked if the link wasn't the Canadian system, why Busby would have known about her. A lot, if you notice, most of his recruits that we have seen since he's been in the head position have actually been kind of more Canadian based, right? And so Tiana would fall in that same boat. Obviously, I think she did go through the collegiate ranks in America, but in her professional career, she has decided to head over to Europe to play. And yeah, I think she's a player that definitely, as the fans grow to know her, she will become one of the favorites of the fans, I think. Portugal is a good transition league, so if she plays well, it could be the top of the league or one of the top women's leagues in Europe. Yeah, I hope she goes to the top of the league first, because I would love for her to go to one of the top teams that play Champions League, let her get some exposure there. And then if she gets to move to like mainland, or one of the top leagues, being like, England, Spain, France, NWSL, that would be nice, We could do with a blended US, Japanese, Spain coaching outfit for the girls. Get fitness up, NWSL crop run for 90 plus 10 minutes regularly. Yeah, they're fit on the backside. All right, so that's Tiana Harris. Jordan says wow, and I say wow as well, but I think we might be saying wow for different reasons, you know what I mean? But let's not go around it. Tiana is a very beautiful girl. Chantel, also a very beautiful girl. She is one of our central defenders. She has been playing regularly this season, which we love to see. Had a struggle with playing time last year when she first went to Leicester, but this year started 12 of 13 appearances. Did have a slight stretch of this season where she wasn't getting much game time. But for the most part, she has played the most of it. And when you look at her matches recently, didn't play the Liverpool game. But yeah, other than that, has pretty much been playing whenever they have games. She is starting in that back line somewhere. And she has had the odd spell where she hasn't played this season as well. But there really just have been one-off times, when she wasn't available, maybe. She did have a little spell where she did pick up a little knock this season, so she missed some of those games. But Leicester City right now is sadly looking like they're going to get relegated. They do have a game in hand, but this season is only 22 games, so they have 4 games left to make up a 4-point deficit on West Ham. But yeah, they look like the favorites as of right now. Last 5 on the bounce. And it's not looking good for them staying in the league, which is not good because her sister was on the team that got relegated last year, which is Crystal Palace. So the Swaby sisters getting relegated 2 years in a row is not the best look, but it's just down to form. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 losses on the bounce, 7 on the bounce in the WSL. So it's just not been a good season for them. But for Chantel individually, she's been doing her part in terms of playing. She's played 13 of the 18 games, as you saw there, starting 12 of them. 2 yellow cards. Chantel's never been the one to really commit a lot of fouls, and that continues this season. But Chantel, at least is getting the reps. You know, she's joined teams at times when she wasn't playing as much, and I think that showed in her game. I think the last window you saw a much more, you know, what we're used to seeing from her. We saw much more. So we have Vian Sampson. Not sure why she's listed under Charlton, because she is in the WE League, which is the women's league over in Japan. She's only been able to play 5 times this season with 2 starts. And she was out with a long-term injury since, you'd say, October. She did make an appearance on the bench in December, but then was out again until this March here, where she was able to get back, and she started 2 games in a row before getting called back into the squad. This is a player that I think, when fit, due to her experience, due to her versatility, can fill that midfield slot, can also play center back, which predominantly she kind of plays for a club team over there in Japan, which he referenced as well. If you look at this game here, which was the most recent game on the 5th of April, you see her there playing in a playing in a back 4, as one of the 2 center backs. For Jamaica, it's going to be interesting to see if she's deployed as a center back, what the plan is. I think the coach has flirted with the idea of playing a back 3 at times, and based on the selections that I see, it does lean itself to maybe going with that back 3. But again, it's just going to be down to what the coach does. We've seen him put Chantel as a right back or even left back in a back 4. So maybe he sees her as somebody that can fill that role as well. I don't really love her there, because I do think she plays better when she can see more of the field in front of her. But, you know, the coach may see something different there. But that's my take on it. But Vian Sampson, I think, a good and welcome addition back into the squad. Just somebody that, I think just very consistent. You don't really have to guess what you're going to get from her in games. And it's always good to have players like that in your team, that you kind of know what you're going to get, you know? And how refreshing is it, people, for the most part, to be going to a squad for Jamaica and seeing that, damn, the players are actually playing for their clubs, you know? Cameron Simmons, one of the more recent professional players, 22 years of age now, and she has had a good start to life with Utah in the NWSL. She has made 4 appearances in the first 4 games, and I think the last fixture they would have played against Chicago would have been the first time this season that she didn't get onto the pitch at all. But since the season has started, she started 2 games, started the season opener, started the game at Washington, and came off of the bench against San Diego, against Mimi, and also off the bench against Boston. But yeah, this Chicago game was the first time that she did not get a starting berth. Now, the last time she started, I'm just going to show you guys how that game looked in terms of the lineup. So they play a back 4 as well. And as you can see on the right here, Cameron Simmons is playing at right back. So, when she was in college, first at, I think where was she, Tennessee, she was a striker, right? And then she moved on to Florida State, and she became a striker or winger, and then she became a right back basically after, basically playing as a forward player for the first part of her Florida State career. I think maybe her coach, or maybe herself, probably the coach, realizing, well, Cameron is a great player, but I'm kind of loaded up in the attacking areas. How can I get Cameron on the field? A spot opened up at right back, and that's where she ended up playing. So yeah, and at the time I wasn't loving the move for her, but now that I'm seeing her at another level playing in that role, I think actually that might have been one of the best things could have happened to her. So it does fill a need for us in the national team. I think right back is an area where, we are always kind of plugging and playing a bit on that area. So to have a player that's playing in the top league, or arguably the top league in the world, playing predominantly in that position, will be very, very helpful to our national team, Don't it? Be sad for them. When I said Jody Brown, court assistant player, damn. Did Busby recruit Hales? No, I don't think so, you know. I think Shania was always lurking around. I remember Shania coming into teams years ago, and what happened in the last cycle, I think, was I don't think she was fit during it. So I think that's why she never really got into that last cycle. I know she had like a major surgery at one point, and she was coming, like last year was her comeback season type of thing. Not outright relegation playoff. Okay. 2 team up automatic from WSL2, then third place will play off with last place. Oh, so they're expanding the league. Okay, I do think the league needed to go up so that the season can have more games. This Reggae Girlz team without a left back, fire the coach, please. So Orion Davis is upset that there's no left back here. All right, so Cameron Simmons. Now let's move on to her college teammate, and that's Amelia Van Zanten, or Mimi. Now she's listed as a right back. I have seen her play left back for college. Haven't seen her get put in that position for the main team. But the thing with Mimi that I love is she comes into the team. If you look at her last 2 performances, player of the match type performances, 8 out of 10s, right? And you look at it, I think she's the only Jamaican that is playing their first season in this league that has been able to start every single game. So she started all 5 games, averaging about 68 minutes per game, and she has been able to get a team of the week as well. I know she won player of the match in one of the games. I think it was the game against the Stars, the Chicago Stars. She had another great performance against Boston about 5 days ago. So definitely Mimi is on point, playing defense, not making any errors yet, no penalties, not even a yellow card to pick up. I was very impressed with Mimi when we saw her drafted into the team. I think she was on that tour when we played Brazil, and she was playing midfield for the most part in those games, and I just loved how she looked in midfield. Then we played Mexico, and she was playing fullback. I think she was playing fullback in those games, and she looked good in those games as well. So the USA game, that's the game where she was going up against Alyssa Thompson. That was a tough game for her, but she did well, I thought. She also had a rough time in the England game as well. So but did well for all things being considered, in my opinion. So Mimi was around for the last time we played in Dominica, and dropped at 18, and then she missed the Nicaragua window, which had people kind of wondering. I think that was just down to preseason for NWSL, trying to make sure that all of that was squared away contract-wise. And once that's done now, which it is, she's back in the fold. But yeah, I think of all the players coming into this window, her and her sister probably are the 2 players, along with Bonisha, of course, that are on the best form going into this window right here. But Mimi, definitely, it's going to be interesting to see. Orion made a comment just now, said, boy, we don't really have a left back. I think Mimi will probably play left back for this team. Just being honest, I think he'll put her there. We saw him do it, put her at right back, saw him use her at left back before. I think of the 2, if you're going to start Cameron and Mimi, Mimi is the one I would trust a little bit more as far as, being comfortable on that left side as well. So yeah, I would probably go with that if we're playing a back 4. Now, if we're playing a back 5, that changes things a little bit for me. But yeah, back 4, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mimi and Cameron start the game. But that's just my take on it. But yeah, this girl has been amazing so far, and San Diego, no, they have a player, because a lot of the marketing I see them doing, Mimi is involved in it, and then we have Allison. Last year got relegated from WSL. This year, So we have Alison Swaby. Don't know why she's still on Milan, but she's at Crystal Palace. And she's in the championship this season. 15 appearances, started 13. Played a bag of minutes. 3 yellows, no reds this season. But you see her heat map, can operate on the left or the right side of defense. Let's just look at the most recent game she would have played. Crystal Palace and Ipswich Town, where they did get a result 1-0 in that one. Alison Swaby played on the left side of a 3 in defense in this particular game. If you look at the standings, Crystal Palace is currently in the promotion playoffs. They're trying to get up ahead of Charlton and Birmingham if possible, or either one of them, so that they can get the automatic promotion. But as it stands, it could be a situation where the Swaby sisters are facing off in the relegation promotion final, which would be quite interesting. One of them will be going to the WSL and one of them wouldn't be. So hopefully Crystal Palace, as you can see, there's not much games left, only 2. So they'll definitely need to have some great results going into the end of the season. Let's see if I can see the fixtures. So they play Sunderland next, kind of lower down in the table. So hopefully they can get that result. So why they're not showing the other game? So around 20. What? Siri. Bill no man. So there's no round 22. So them only play 21. That don't make no sense. I them just don't have it yet. So they haven't done the fixtures as yet, I guess. Yeah, so it's only showing one more round, but based on it being 12 teams, it should be 22 games. So I don't know what's happening here. This is strange, but either way, it's saying 1 game left, but it should be 2 based on the amount of teams in the league. But Charlton plays Southampton, so that's a tough one for them. So they really just need Birmingham or Southampton to drop some points, and obviously they need to win the next game. Goal difference, preferably Charlton, because the goal difference better. So if Charlton can lose to Southampton and Crystal Palace can end up beating Sunderland, then they'll get straight promotion. I don't have to worry about the Swaby sisters battling it out, Oh, absolutely. She's a way better right back than Simmons, but she might be the best left back too. So that's why I say just start the 2 of them. Maybe in the context of joining a relegation 13 team when your contract is running out. Dre, any weather in a building? I don't know if him still do YouTube, but definitely find him on TikTok and Instagram and them places for sure. Outside of Bonnie, Mimi is our best player, but can't get on the field for Jamaica. Fire the coach. No, man, she'll get on the field for Jamaica. In the 6th, boy, she look good in midfield now. I think she could have played anywhere. Left back for most of her career. Mimi plays left back against England. Yeah, that's what I said. In college, she was playing left back. So, she could definitely easily play there. Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Only way she can play there is if it's in a back 3 setup and she's the left wing back or left midfielder type of thing. That's what I think. The initial experience will give her the edge. I just wouldn't play her there anymore. Crystal have been having a resurgence. I wish they get an auto spot. Yeah, she has been doing much better. Crystal Palace have been doing much better. Okay, Palace playing Portsmouth. Yeah, so it looks like SofaScore is not up to date with the fixtures because I'm like, bro, they have to play 22 games, so you can't trick me. But Alison, like I said, doing pretty well this season. Did miss some time due to some injury, but definitely back in the starting 11 and having some decent performances coming into this window. So Alison Swaby, 29 years of age, she will be back for sure. Going to be interesting to see how the coach sees this defense looking now? I mean, 4 good options as centre backs there: Harris, Swaby, Sampson, and Swaby. Let's see in his pecking order what it's looking like currently. He has been pretty much playing Tiana since she first got there, and Allison was the one to get the bench the last time. Is that a sign of things to come? But yeah, where's the use Fatma? Let's see what Fatma was saying. So I've Fatma just in case as a next reference point. All right, so that is the defenders. Let's move into the midfielders now. All right, we're doing decent on time. So we have Sade, Olufa Sade, Olufa Sade. I left out the la. All right, let me see. So they do have their Women's Premier League in Scotland up, which is nice. 22 appearances, 17 starts, 4 goals, and an assist so far this season. She does play for Hearts over there in Scotland, and she has played a number of roles for this team. In this game, looks like she played on the right in a 4-4-2 against Glasgow City. Then the game before that, April 1st against Celtic, they had a 4-1 win. Looks like she played another role just like that in this one, in a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-2-3-1, playing like a wider role again, but did have some time in the game as well where she's going infield. But earlier this season, she was playing much deeper. So definitely, I thought it looked like they were trying to convert her to more of a central midfield player. But recently, it looks like they have gone back to what she used to play more than that, which is a wide role in a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1. But this is how they were deploying her earlier this season, more in a central role in like a 3-5-2, as an attacking midfielder / central midfielder. So versatility definitely at this point, but it's quite interesting that what looks like a conversion to another position, they've kind of reverted back. And you see the heat map here, games in that attacking wide area, and also some games where she was playing much deeper in the system. So I think based on the makeup of this team, it looks like Busby is going to be using her more so in that central midfield role. Let me know if you guys know. Yeah, Naya Cardoza, he spoke on her, not quite in full form yet because the Canadian League is a little bit behind, still in preseason. So yeah, man, big up there, Congo. Respect for tuning in, brother. Nothing about Congo today, but you don't know, can learn about the Jamaica Reggae Girlz, and if anything, Alison also has interest from other. Yeah, she is proven over there. So if it doesn't work out for them to get back into the WSL, I would be surprised if Alison don't get a move to one of the teams. Our coach Fumble Taylor Hines, fire the coach. Needs Saturday for go France or Spain. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, at her age and her profile and what she's done so far in her career, that she can't get out of Scotland. But the Scottish League, I think, is an improving league. I don't think it's up there with England yet, but it's not a bad league. It's not a bad league. It's a decent level. The only problem really is, the size. It's just 10 teams, just like in the men's Scottish Premiership. But Hearts right now is looking on course to win the title, which is nice. Let's see if Fatma have any more game car. Scottish SWPL fixtures. Yeah, so they have Rangers left to play. and then their season ends. So they have what, 3 matches left: Rangers, Patrick Thistle, and then they end with Celtic on May the 10th. So it's a very, very tight race for that title right now. They have a 1 point gap over Rangers and a 2 point gap over Glasgow City. So it's anybody's ball game right now. But yeah, not that many fixtures left, and they are in first place now. So it's a big one. That's a big one. Maybe she just likes Scotland. Yeah, maybe she just likes it there for real. Maybe our World Cup success was due to the defensive capability of Shayna Matthews. Took a lot of pressure off the right back with another winger with that ability. It's a good point there, Demal. She was very active on that right side for us. Yeah, I think Sade technically is one of my favorite players on the whole team. Like, there's nothing technically she can't do. She's good with both feet. She has good first touch. I think with her, because she has changed positions to a more central midfield role, I think she's still learning how to do the off the ball things from a midfield position. I don't think she's quite grasped that fully yet. And I think that's her next progression. If she's going to play there permanently, which it doesn't look like it's fully permanent because her club has put her back more on the wing. But if that's what the coach sees her as for Jamaica, we need to continue to work on that. Because I think that's the one thing that I see as a deficiency for her. Really good on the ball, really good, progressing the ball forward, keeping possession, retaining possession. But the defensive side of that role she's playing now for Jamaica, I think she needs some work in that side. So that would hopefully, as these windows happen, they're really drilling into her that structure. When to press, when to drop and cover space. I think those are the little things that she needs to get better on if she's gonna play there. So that's Sade. Now Atlanta Primus. She has had a really good season over there in England. She's the captain over at Charlton, and what's been interesting about her season this season is a lot of times she's been playing as the false nine, which is different than what you see from her with Jamaica. For Jamaica, she's like a workhorse in the midfield for the most part, usually playing somewhere centrally, sometimes right behind the striker, but most times lately a little bit deeper, closer to the number 6. But she has 3 goals, 3 assists this season, 20 appearances, 20 starts, and plays pretty much the bulk of every game. Her last game against Sheffield United, she did play the full 90. And this is how the teams lined up. So Southampton, you see Primus playing in a front 2 on this occasion, and you see her heat map, really a very attacking type player. Still will give you the drop back and pick the ball up, but definitely playing much more as an attacking role in her Southampton team. And hopefully she doesn't fall too much in love with that, because I think in the function of our team, we definitely need her to play a different role. So Atlanta Primus for me, never going to give you less than 100% effort. But I do think also that as her confidence and her stature in the team has grown, I think she's starting to show much more now why she was leaned on by Donaldson so much, and by pretty much any coach that has been around since she's been here. I think she's kind of proving now all along what people might have been missing, right? Drew Spence is back in the squad, 33 years of age, definitely a player that was missed in the last window against Nicaragua. I thought, having her in the midfield would have helped out a lot against that Central American opponent. But Drew has been playing pretty much number 6 double pivot for Tottenham this season. And as her career goes forward, I think you're starting to see her move gradually away from the opponent's goal. But Drew, great professional. At points in her time with the Reggae Girlz, I've questioned her fitness level. But I do think this year she has been much more consistent in terms of, playing time and just overall getting minutes on the pitch. She has played 16 of the 19 games they've played so far with 15 starts, 2 assists, no goals. But yeah, I think she definitely, has issues sometimes with discipline in the midfield, can get caught up in these little spots with the opponents, and she did have a red card this season. So that's something to watch for in these 2 games. Drew Spence, I think that's the one thing you can really worry about with her, just getting involved in things maybe she don't have to get involved in terms of, fights and things of that nature. But she's a combative player, and that is definitely why that would be happening. So Trudy Carter, she is over in Mexico playing the Clausura season right now. 12 appearances, 11 matches started, 45 minutes a game. She does have 2 goals on the season, and this was the most recent game on April the 5th. Of course, she is at Club Leon now, and she came on and played 19 minutes in her last appearance. Trying to find a game. 23rd of March, she came on as well. Trying to find one where she would have started. Okay, so she started this one. So let's see. I think typically they're playing a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, and she's playing one of the wide midfield roles. We've seen her come on as well as one of the 2 in the attack. But it looks like the coach Cervantes does see Trudy as a wide midfield type player. Let's see if I can find the next one. This was when they faced Puebla. I think she played off the left in this one. Yeah, so 4-2-3-1 this time, playing off the left. So yeah, left or right side, Trudy, I don't think she really cares so much about which one. The Apertura season, which was the fall, she got some game time as well. But yeah, she's back into the fold. Trudy Carter can play right or left side. It's going to be interesting. I don't know where he'll deploy her. She's listed as a midfielder. So does he see her as more of a central player? That remains to be seen. And then we have Denisha Blackwood as well, playing over there in Mexico. I think she's on Cruz Azul right now. Actually, no, she made the move to Toluca. So yeah, she's on Toluca's team right now. And currently in the season, the Clausura season, that is, she has made 16 appearances starting, all 16. Surprisingly, no goals yet for the season, but yeah, let's just take a look at the most recent one. They did fall to our former team 4-0. That is Cruz Azul. And even in a game where they got beaten handily, she was able to get a 7.5 rating. And in this game, it looks like she was deployed basically on that left-hand side in a more attacking role. But yeah, she basically playing week in, week out in the Mexican League, a league that is growing leaps and bounds. We're seeing much better quality being displayed in this league. So then hopefully the coach plays her where her club team plays her, and that's further up the pitch. Please, Mr. Busby, don't bother with the then at left back team. Please. Please and thanks. All right, so that's all the midfielders. Now, we have 2 hours now to go through the 28 forwards. But in all honesty, here are the forwards. Kayla McKenna, she's over in Switzerland now at Grasshopper. And she's banging in the goals as she tends to do. Only 4 matches in the Europa Cup, but she did get a goal. And then when you look at the... Okay, so this, we'll have to get creative with this one. Let me see if Fatma will have it. Grasshopper Club. And they are in 4th right now in their league. 18 matches. But Kayla McKenna on the season, she's scoring goals, bro. She got 1, 4, 5, 6. So 8 goals on the season for Kayla. So they have 9 games that they played. And the interesting thing is they are still not back from their break. They won't get back until after the international window. They're, oh no, it's not true. So they've been playing. So how come? Wait a second. All right, let me check FatMob, people. We might have to go somewhere else for this one. Swiss Super League. Grasshoppers. Yeah, so FatMob say, yo, when I know the league I need a brother Lowy. So this is not. Yeah, so FatMob is not showing any love to the FatMob not showing no love to the Swiss Super League for women. So work with these people. All I can tell you is McKenna. Let's see. Yeah, so saying our last game was in December, so I'm confused. It's almost like they just stopped showing the women's games on here. Well, she was gone 8 goals back in, well, not 8, so 3, 4, 5. She was up to 7 goals in December. So I'm not certain how much she gone now. Let me see. I'm gonna try a third thing. Yo, people that make it so hard way to follow women's football in this world. It's unfair. I think I'll be able to find it here. All right, so we'll get something. Can I see this in English? Is that possible? All right, so we'll find something else, people. I'm going to try this. So this is Kayla. And so Women's Super League, she got 17 matches, 9 goals, 1 assist. In the Swiss Cup, she played a match, didn't score. In the Europa Cup, she played 4 matches, 1 goal. So 22 games, 10 goals, 1 assist. Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. So yeah, not bad for Kayla. But Kayla, will you play? That is the question. Will Kayla play? We don't know. Yeah, doesn't understand that part of that role, or doesn't execute it well enough. Nobody tackles on the Reggae Girlz. That's not true. Guyana is afraid. Yo, that shit was loud. Yeah, man, she will be there. She will be there. Yeah, I wouldn't have Trudy in the team either. Yeah, Toluca. Big up Lansley. Hope all is well outside of Bonnie. What these attacking player stats? Yeah, that we are showing you now. So McKenna got 10 goals, this season in 22, 10 goals, 1 assist. So a goal contribution once every other game, not bad. Yeah, man, that game she played good, man. Even though they got 4 love, they should have scored at least 2 goals in the game. I saw the highlights. Wasn't good enough from their attacking players. All right. Moving on. The next player is Natasha Thomas. So Natasha, I think I'll be able to get everything we want from SofaScore. So she's on Ipswich Town, which got promoted to the championship this season. And it's looking like they might go right back down. But let's take a look at her season and see what she's been up to. I thought Natasha had a decent window the last time the Reggae Girlz came together. And Natasha Thomas predominantly plays up front. She's made 18 appearances, starting 9 games. She has 2 goals and 1 assist this season. So not the most prolific. I think, Ipswich Town, as they have kind of grown in stature going through the leagues, have been, recruiting attackers every season. And I think, Natasha being the one that's been there the longest, the one that, was with them through some of the lower league experiences they would have gone through. Maybe that's kind of held against her in some way, in terms of they've brought in these players to kind of get them to a new level. And Natasha might be looked at as the old guard, not in terms of age, but just, the players that were around when Ipswich Town wasn't in the championship. They were in, National League or whatever the case is. So maybe that's why she hasn't been starting as much. And it could just be form as well. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but based on the evidence I saw of her for Jamaica and based on what I know of her as a player, I think Ipswich might not maybe be doing the right thing with her usage. I feel like she can play much more for this team, and maybe it's a case where you find a way to play her and the striker that they use the most, which is Princess. So I don't know. I've been surprised at her lack of game time this season. I'll just say that. Because with her starting half of her appearances, I just wasn't expecting that this year for her. Even though the writing was kind of on the wall, because her game time did start to decrease towards the end of last year for the club. So we'll see if she can earn back that starting role, and we'll see what the future holds for Ipswich, because currently Ipswich is right there, looking like they're going to face relegation. But they have a chance. They have a game in hand. If they win that game, they'll leapfrog Durham. So all is not lost for Ipswich, and I think they'll be looking to be able to salvage at least going back to the championship next year. So that is Natasha Thomas. Not having the most prolific club season, but a player that I think showed quality in the last window. So I'm sure she put up her hand to be a thought, at least, for Coach Busby. Then we have then we have Khadija Bonishaw. You saw what she did in the FA Cup. Scored in that. I don't know why they're not showing that fixture here. But in the Super League, one of the highest ratings in the entire league, 7.77, 19 games, 19 starts, 7 teams of the week. That's ridiculous. 18 goals and 4 assists this season. When you look at her conversion rate, though, still something that I think even her, she'll look at it and say, I should score more than this 18 goals. She has missed 25 big chances this season. And if you remember, against Nicaragua, I think she might have missed 4 or 5 big chances herself. So that's something that, if you're looking for some way to say, okay, Bonnie, we need to work on something, I think she herself would probably tell you as well, she needs to get better where the goal conversion and the big chance conversion is concerned. But 7 teams of the week in 19 games is just ridiculous stats. But I mean, what can you say? Bonnie Shaw just doing her thing. scoring in the cup, scoring in the WSL. League Cup. Had a goal and assist there. But the Super League is just ridiculous stats, man. She had 10 the other day. Didn't have the best of games in the last game. And this was down to the usual reasons. Missed chances, missing one there. But yeah, I think this season I've seen an improvement in her build-up play as well. Getting more involved in actions away from the box that she's gonna score in. So that's something that I think will hold her in good stead with Jamaica, because with Jamaica, you know, it's not gonna be a situation like at City where sometimes you can literally just stay in the width of the 18, stay close to the box, and the Hemps of the world, the Hasegawas of the world, all these players will set you up. The Kasperi, you know, all these players will set you up, right? But for Jamaica, maybe that abundance of creativity isn't there. You know, the team on a whole might not be as good. So, you know, those factors come into play, and you getting more involved in the play just because you are the player you are might be a way to unlock others. So good to see that her progression outside of the 18-yard box is continuing, right? She's now 29 years of age. So in the women's game, that's still relatively young. You know, most of these high professional women play well into their mid-30s. So definitely Bonnie Shaw, you know, now the leading goal scorer for Jamaica, both men and women, and that will only continue. And I see in these two games, more than likely, she'll get some more goals as well. I agree, she's been better for us than with the club. Orion saying want Bonnie and Thomas up front. I need Natasha out of Ipswich, please. I wish Bonnie stats were better. Horrible conversion. Yeah, the conversion is tough, man. I think it's at what, 17%? And I'm sure, you know, when she looks at her season and everything, she will say the same, like, I need to do better with this conversion. Yeah, so the goal conversion is 17%. You know, that's just, you know, you'd love to see that number get way better. So finishing, can you imagine that? One of the best goal scorers, and the finishing is one of the biggest things she can improve. Overall, I think Bonnie have, here, let me tell you. Overall this season, Bonnie have 7 assists. So 20 goals, 7 assists for Bonnie this season in all comps. So yeah, she's doing her thing. She's had higher goal scoring seasons since she's been at City. She had 27 and 8 in 22-23. But yeah, if she can finish off the season strong, I wouldn't be surprised if she can get to what, about 23 goals, maybe a couple more assists or one more assist. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. She can even hit 25 if she get a hat trick in one of them. Bonnie don't like easy goals. Why? Yeah, because in that Nicaragua game, she had 2 easy chance and miss, and then the hardest chance she put in the goal. All right, that's Bonnie Shaw. Now we move on to Shania Hales. This is a player that I was really excited about when she first came. I think she was on a much better form last season than this. But, you know, this season hasn't been the greatest of times for her, playing-wise or output-wise. She has 15 appearances in the league, 9 starts, 2 goals, 1 assist, and that is in the championship. But when you look at the overall stats throughout every competition, same 2 goals, 1 assist in 19 games. I think the main thing is just she hasn't been able to really nail down a starting spot. You know, she started 9 of the 15 games she's played. And when you look at Newcastle's season so far in the league, they have played 20 games. So she has had some games where she's just on the bench and don't even come off the bench, right? And they pretty much look like they were going to be up there at least for a promotion playoff spot, but they have really fallen under some bad form. You know, only 1 win in 5. I think that's basically played them out of a promotion chance. But yeah, you know, there you go. Forest last game just on the bench. And just not getting a lot of starts. Did start this game against Sunderland the other day, but mostly coming off of the bench when she makes appearances for Newcastle. The interesting thing about Shania, when you look at, so I think this was the last game she started, and you look at where they normally deploy her, they most times play with a 4-2-3-1, and Shania can be where you see Gregory, Pike, or she plays up front. And I think that's one of the things that maybe is holding her back with Newcastle getting starts. It almost seems as if she's the one that they plug and play when they're missing someone. So if they're missing Gregory, she'll slide there. If they're missing Pike, she'll slide there. If they're missing the striker, she slides there. But if they're all available, she's the one that's normally not on the field. So yeah, it's going to be interesting because when you look at our team, you have the likes of Hales, you have the likes of Thomas, you have the likes of McKenna, you have the likes of Shaw. I think all four of them can operate comfortably as a number 9. But we've seen Thomas and Hales be the ones deployed other places on that front line. Let's see what the coach ends up going with this go around, because I don't see Hales getting that start up front or even getting playing time up front over Thomas McKenna or Khadijah Shaw. So clearly you see Hales as a supporting striker or as a wide forward, If Hales not playing, why bring her? I don't think Hales got a true position. Yeah, look, I mean, she's playing. It's not like she's not playing. I just would have hoped that she would have been playing more minutes, because when you look at it, she's played most of the games. The last fixture before the window, though, she didn't get any game time. But yeah, I'm okay with her coming because I think she's of the level. She has the quality. And when you look at the team, I'd probably keep Shania around because I think Soleil, Kiki, Shania, and probably Jody. That's probably like my first 4 options as far as wide midfielders or wide attackers go. So yeah, I mean, look, if Shania wasn't in the team, I wouldn't be crazy. But if Buckley's there, if Trudy's there, I think Shania probably should be there too. And I actually happen to like Shania a little more than Paige Bailey-Gale. I know Paige Bailey-Gale is a lot of people's favorite. Not favorite, but a lot of people respect her, and I respect her too. I haven't seen what I've seen from her at her clubs for Jamaica. I've never seen it. Maybe she just trains really well. I'm not sure, but I've never seen it for the club. Now, Jody Brown is back. She was injured for the last window. But one thing I want to see, though, is she back? Because I don't think she's played since she's been back. Let me see. Not listed on the bench here. That was, March the 28th? March the 22nd? Yeah, so I had one. Have you seen Jody back on the bench at all? Because the last appearance I'm seeing here is from in January when she would have got injured, I think. So I'm just curious to know, when she has a goal in the cup, and she's played 12 times so far with 1 assist. But she does have a goal in the cup as well. So 13 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, I believe. Let me check Soccer Donna because they might have a bit more thorough stats on this one. Jody Brown. Okay, so yes, they have her for 1 assist in 12. So no more info here. But it was showing a cup goal for Marseille this season, so she does have a goal for the team in the cup. But Jodie Brown, I mean, this I would more so say this one is a bit different. This is probably definitely a selection because she's just so well known in Jamaica, and they're playing at home. But Jodie Brown, based on the merit of what she's doing right now, probably could have been left off of this squad. I think this was a pick definitely with an eye to, we're playing in front of the home fans, and Jodie Brown is a fan favorite there. Yeah, she's not even fit. So I mean, it's a strange one. Here's a good option to have off the bench. Here's better option than Trudy, Jodie, etc. Yeah, man, she has an influence when she comes on. That's true. Yeah, Hales over Brown. Agreed. And Jodie, and the thing is, Jodie's not even playing. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know why. We know why. We're playing at home. Jodie is the crowd favorite, as a local, well, besides Bonnie, of course. And we've been growing with her. She was in the first World Cup team as like a 16, 17-year-old. So, she has that endearment with the fans. All right, Paige Bailey-Gale. I think she's playing in Germany still. Oh no, she's now in Switzerland. So she's over there in the Swiss league playing against Kayla McKenna, listed as a right winger. Let me see if I can. So Paige Bailey-Gale has a total of 18 matches, and she has scored 12 goals and 1 assist. And she's playing predominantly off the left-hand side, in like a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 type of setup. But you can see that she's been banging in the goals, definitely scoring a lot of goals this season over there. Let me show you how I'm seeing the full stats. I had to get creative and pull up my third option here. So Paige Bailey-Gale, as you can see, you see the heat map playing predominantly off the left-hand side. Well, actually it depends. Is she going down or up? Yeah, midfield left. All right, cool. 15 matches and 3 in the cup. She got 12 goals and 1 assist between those. Predominantly starting games as well. Not playing full 90s, but starting a lot of the games. So that proved to be a good move for her over to Switzerland. Paige Bailey-Gale banging in the goals. Might be at a level that's higher than where she was before in Germany. Because I think she was in like the 2nd or 3rd division in Germany at the time. So for her to be putting up these numbers in the Swiss Super League, that's definitely a good look. So Paige Bailey-Gale banging in the goals, 7 in the league, 5 in the cup. She's doing her thing, Definitely doing a good job, Paige Bailey-Gale. I just don't know if she gets in with all these players. I heard him mention that she looked good in training as a potential fullback. So is that how she gets into the team? Who knows? Maybe he goes with her over Cameron at right back for the first game because of experience. But let's see what the coach decides. I just feel like when you go through these names now and you see all what they're doing, could it have been more what can I say, is more stringent in his selection, and not call up all these players, because I don't think they're all get to play. Moving on, Paige Bailey-Gale to Soleil Washington. Now, surprisingly, of all the players that did make that jump to the NWSL in the Jamaican ranks this season, Soleil is probably the one that I was kind of most surprised about in terms of her getting so much run so early, just because of how her college career kind of ended off with a lot of injury troubles, not really being able to crack the starting lineup for FSU at times. I'm just surprised that she's been able to force her way after her preseason into the thinking of the coach from the start. You know, she's made 5 appearances in all 5 games, started 3 of them, averaging just over a half per game, 51 minutes. Only the 1 assist so far, so not having that productivity in terms of output just yet. But I think for her, it's a great achievement for her to be in and around this starting 11 for Orlando. Orlando is a team that, you know, has a lot of good players on it, people. So, you know, April 3rd, this was the starting lineup when they faced Angel City and won. One thing I love about what she's doing right now, you can see she's playing against one of our we're playing with one of our main rivals from Mexico, Ovalle. I think, you know, they're up and coming star, probably their top star right now in terms of the attacking sense. Barbara Banda, probably the most explosive striker in world football on the women's side, plays striker with her in this team. And Marta is still on the roster getting minutes, and she actually came in for Solai in this game. But yeah, I think all those things, a lot of really good players, experienced players. Rafael from Brazil, World Cup experience there as well. So just the experience I think she'll gain just playing with some of these players is invaluable. So, you know, again, I'm just very proud of her that she's been able to, in a squad full of, you know, seasoned pros, you know, get in and around this first team and really hold down a starting spot at this point. So good work from her. Like I said, I was worried for her a bit when she was headed to Orlando, because I know perennially they're a team that, you know, is a very, very good team. But she's been able to get there and do her thing and, you know, get into that starting lineup. So kudos to her. Like I said, the output isn't quite there yet, but the fact that she's getting game time in that team lets me know that she is ready for this international call-up. So Soleil Washington, very, very good start to the season in terms of forcing your way into a team of that stature. Now, Kalisa Kiki Van Zanten, arguably with Bonisha, our most informed attacker, and she has most definitely had a great start to life this season. So Kiki, all right, so Kiki did miss the first fixture of the season for Houston. I think she was just, oh no, they've only played 4 games. Okay, never mind. So Kiki has played every game so far for Houston. She did come off the bench in the first game. Their loss to her sister. Well, sorry, their win in San Diego against her sister. She did come on for the final 8 minutes, but since then, she has started every game and played the full 90, scoring 4 goals in the process, having 2 games with a brace. Sorry, I thought you guys were seeing this. Let me put this on the screen for you guys. Kiki Van Zanten. All right, so Kiki, yeah, there you go. So far this season, just doing her thing. You know, 2 games, 9-in-1, 10-in-1. I think she made the team of the week both of those times. But yeah, braces in games, and then had not the greatest performance in a loss to Angel City in her 3rd game, and then did come off the bench in a victory against San Diego, which is where her sister plays. But so far this season, averaging a 7.88, up there in the league as one of the top, and 2 team of the weeks already in her first 4 games of the season. 4 goals, no assists yet, but she has created 2 big chances and has on average 3 key passes a game. So when you're talking about a player that can do both score and set up, I don't think you have to look any further than Kiki Van Zanten. And I think what I love about her start of the season is, for whatever reason, when she's calling to Jamaica teams, it seems like she does not get that just due in the team. She doesn't get the just due, you know? So I'm just happy that she's really showing with her Houston Dash performances that she's underused for Jamaica. It is quite clear. It is quite clear. The mall, yeah, Davia is over in, is it Slovakia? Either Slovakia or Slovenia. and she's doing pretty well, scoring goals and everything over there already. Let me see if I can find the info on her. She might be in an area where it's not really giving you much. I'm gonna try to find it. I will just give me a second to finish up on the last few players, and then we'll touch on the comments. And some comments about players not in the team, so I'll answer them when I get to them. Cause we're running shorter on time. So let me kind of get through the rest of the players that were selected. So Kiki doing her thing, and then Chanel Buckley, there's really not much to report on her currently. She did make the transfer over to FSU, which we're very, very happy about. And we're just waiting for the fall season to roll around and see how well she can do on the back of winning JUCO National Player of the Year last year and winning a national title again in junior college, which is, you know, pretty much a place where top teams like FSU would be scoring to see if they can bring people over to their program. And Chanel definitely impressed, and I think it helped that Jody, Soleil, Cameron, Mimi have all recently gone through the process as well, so that Jamaica link continues to get stronger for FSU. Yeah, man, that's a huge squad. Big side. Meek said Jordan, through the time done. Yes, there was one new addition, Drew, and we know that it is along the vein of what we see from the senior reggae boys, and that is there might have been a need for an additional player to come in. We haven't got any news out of JFF about any omissions, which is kind of par for the JFF course. Sometimes they don't do things in order, right? So this was the post today. It was about, well, yesterday now, 20 hours ago, and that is for Shanae Ashley to get a call up to the senior Reggae Girlz squad for the April 10 qualifier, and she's of Real Mona FC. So congrats to Shanae for getting this opportunity. She has represented at the youth level, and the JWPL put out a congratulatory post, just letting everyone know that this did indeed take place. So looks like the JFF as well and BAM Sports are collaborated on this. Or am I not following Real Mona Female or this or McNamee? I thought I was following all these things. So yeah, that is it. That is it, people. Shanae Ashley. So I will keep my eyes and ears peeled to the streets and try to figure out if Shanae is just an addition, just to get some exposure, or she's indeed filling in for someone. Now, when you look at the squad again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's a 23-woman squad. So maybe she's just going to make 24, maybe. But let's see. We're not really sure. But kudos. Yeah, Serbia. I knew it was either Serbia or Slovenia. One of them two places. But she's doing well. I see her posting, like a half a season kind of recap thing, and I see goals in the post and everything. And she seems to be assimilating well, making new friends, and fitting into the group well. It seems like she does a lot of posts with the team, so that's good. They have a good bonding situation over there. So sometimes for some of our players, that's just the main thing, like how well can they, socially get into the mix. And looks like she's doing a decent job. So, who knows, maybe soon we might be able to see her. Another player that I've always been keeping track of is Andreen Smith. And she is over at Spartak Subotica in Serbia as well. So they're kind of, I don't know if they're in the same league, actually. I think they might be, But yeah, Andrine, it's difficult to get stats on what she's doing in that league. So the Serbian league needs to do a better job of getting their news out there. Kiki is more informed than Bunny. Call it what it is. She's our top player currently, top of goals table. Kiki and Mimi must start, I agree. Jason, I watched the last dash match. I see Kiki put on the left foot, my ball out wrong foot. She said, watch this, 2 off of the week of left foot. Yeah, bro, but it's technique. It's not like it's the most powerful shot in the world, but when you have good technique, you know where it's going to go. That's what I see from Kiki. She's just a very technical player. Yeah, she can play either one. I don't mind her playing off the right because she can cut in and shoot with the left foot too. But yeah, I think she's better when she plays off the right, off the left. But I think also she can play in a role behind the striker because she's so versatile going either way. I was tired watching Dash run up and down for 100+ minutes, whatever they do for fitness. We need it for both men and women. Yeah, that's the part about Kiki's game that I love. I've always seen Kiki, to me, as a 60-minute or off the bench player. And that's the difference I see this season. I think she's really worked hard to be able to play the entire game on a team like you very well know just runs the whole time. I think the fitness coach from the Reggae Girlz is also at Houston. That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, they haven't been managing her minutes. I mean, she started 3 games, 90 minutes in a row. I think she's just playing too good to take off. Not mad at it. Real Mona is that squad. We need to go shopping at Real Mona women. We can also take the Real Mona coach too. She's a good young talent. I'll never go against Real Mona. That's my club. When I played in Jamaica, 4 club teams, that's who I played for. So I will always have nothing but good things to say about Real Mona. Glad that they're venturing into the women's game like they are now too. Because there are good people behind that club, you know, that understand the importance of development and maybe place that as more of a premium than winning. And I think in the women's game in particular in Jamaica, that trait is needed. You know, they need to be developing these players. Obviously you want to win and everything, but you need to try to develop the players too. But yeah, let me go back to there were some questions about players. So Davia is in Serbia. There's another one though. Yeah, man, I think when you look at the teams and the results, it looks like Fraser's Whip obviously has the conveyor belt of the what's considered the best talent, right? Then you have Los Perfectos, I think, doing a good job as well. Another club that I think focuses mainly on development, and then Real Mona. Those are the 3 clubs that I see consistently getting good results, you know. Good question on Tiny. Tiny, where are you? It's not really giving me any info on Tiny on here. Let me see if I can just put it into Google and see what happens. For a stalker up on Facebook. I'm not a robot. Yeah, looks like she's still over there. Liberia Football Association. So yeah, she's still over there. Looks like she found herself a Liberian girl as well. So yeah, she's over there. Yeah, I think Peyton had a bad injury. Wiltshire, I thought she was gonna catch back the bug when she played that TST, but I haven't seen her really get back into it. You know, it looks like she's still enjoying being a mother and her family life. Rachel Jones did retire after leaving UNC. I think she's gonna get into law, I believe. But yeah, Peyton McNamara was one that I thought had a future. So I don't know what's going on with her. Maybe that injury was just terrible. Yeah, no, January 24, she had a game and said good game yesterday. So I'm assuming that the season's still going. So she should still be there. But yeah, people, I've gone through the squad. Didn't really get too much into the Antigua and Barbuda preview, but before I head out, let me just do this. Just remind you guys of where we at in the competition in terms of the standings and whatnot. All right, so let me find okay, so I'm gonna show you guys our group and the other groups. So there are 4 groups, and the 4 group winners will join the 4 qualified teams already. Just to remind you guys of that, we have oh, okay. So it's just USA and Canada. I don't know why I thought it was 4. I thought it was 4 of them. Okay. So just USA and Canada were able to automatically qualify. So, you know, of course, the other teams that you would expect to get there to join the other 2, Mexico, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Haiti, Panama, and Trinidad and Tobago. And those will be based on obviously the rankings of the teams, right? So if the rankings were to hold true, those should be the 6 teams to join USA and Mexico. But of course, you know, it never plays out exactly how you think. So here is where we currently stand in all the groups. So Group A, Puerto Rico leading. Mexico does have that game in hand, and they do face Puerto Rico in the last game. They have 2 games this window. Puerto Rico have 1 game left. That's against Mexico. That more than likely will be for all the marbles. I do expect Mexico to have the advantage in goal difference. Mexico, before facing them, will play U.S. Virgin Islands. If you look at their results so far, you know, the Virgin Islands beat St. Lucia, but other than that, they fell 9-0 to Puerto Rico. So more than likely, Mexico will equal or at least better 5-0, which will get them past the plus 26 that Puerto Rico sit on. So I would expect going into the last game, a draw to be good enough for Mexico. But they'll have to take that game very seriously. Puerto Rico looks to be a very much improved team from the last cycle. And you know they have the diaspora in the United States to lean on heavily. So, you know, it's basically a USA team that Puerto Rico is using, you know. A letter down there in the alphabet, but still, that level of a USA team could still hold their own against any team in CONCACAF. So they are definitely a threat, I think, to Mexico. But I do believe in the end, Mexico has made the strides enough and have the quality enough to get over the line. So I don't think an upset will happen, but, you know, that will be a great game to watch. The Mexico-Puerto Rico game, that should be a really good game. If you're a fan of CONCACAF women's football or women's football in general, that's a good game to watch. I think that will be one of the better games of this round, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Then we move to Jamaica's Group B. You know, one thing I noticed about this group, Jamaica was the only team that played against what I consider to be their toughest opponent already in their first 2 games, and that was Nicaragua getting the win there 3-2. Tough, hard-fought win, but it was a win nonetheless, and that's why Jamaica currently is in first place, even having that game in hand. So we're the only one, I think, of the seeded teams in this round that has been able to, after 2 games, lead the group. So that's a nice sign there. Nicaragua and Guyana, think the two other good teams are the two other teams challenging us for the most part in this group. We've already faced one of them, and we do face Guyana last. We'll have another game against Antigua, who has struggled so far in the competition. Not as bad as Dominica, but definitely, no wins for them yet, not even a draw yet. They're looking forward to their last game, which will be Antigua and Barbuda versus Dominica, where they can more than likely get on the points sheet. But these are the results so far in our group. 4-0 win for Nicaragua over Antigua, who we play next. Jamaica was able to win 18-0 over Dominica, set a record there for the Reggae Girlz. Nicaragua beat Guyana 3-1 in December, and then February, when we played our match against Nicaragua, Guyana beat Dominica 3-0, and Jamaica won 3-2 in a hard-fought game in Nicaragua. And then Guyana traveled to Antigua and beat them 4-0. So we're into this window now: Jamaica, Antigua, Dominica, Antigua, Jamaica, Guyana, and Nicaragua and Dominica. So Jamaica with a chance with 2 wins to finish on 12 points, and that will guarantee them safe entry into the Concacaf W Championship in November. And I expect us to fully be able to do so. Guatemala, again, like I pointed out before, Costa Rica, a game in hand. They're the favorites. As long as they get over or past Guatemala in their last fixture of this group, they will be in that final round. Guatemala only have 1 game left, and that is against the favorites in the group, Costa Rica. Now, Guatemala did well so far, 6-0, 4-1. And then last window got the better of Cayman, the worst team in the group. It looks like 13-0. But Costa Rica play Cayman next, so they should. Let's see if they can better the 13-0 Guatemala put on them, and that will ensure that they only need a draw in their last game against Guatemala, which they probably would want to do. So I feel sorry for Cayman in this game because Costa Rica need the goals. So you could see them approaching the 18 like Dominica in that one. And then Costa Rica, Guatemala will be for all the marbles. Now, Guatemala does look an improved team, but I think Costa Rica in the end will hold through to the rankings and get through this one over Guatemala. Then we have Dam Rep and Haiti. Haiti, the favorites. They just need to handle their business. I say at home coming up, but really and truly, they don't have a home when it comes to international football. So they will be playing their 2 games this window in Guadeloupe. And I fully expect them after 4 games played to be on 12 points. I think Dam Rep will be a tough one for them, but I think Haiti in the end will have too much quality, just too much quality in the end. I think with Pia coming on board as well, and I think a big change for them is they found an actual goalkeeper that's competent. That's one of the things that held them back tremendously last time they were trying to qualify. So Haiti is coming, people, and don't be surprised if they're right there fighting us at that W Championship for that slot for the World Cup. All right. Group E, Cuba ahead of Panama, but again, Panama with just the 2 games played so far, I think they fully will get to the top of this table by the end of it, and I don't think there'll be many surprises there. And then Group F, we have El Salvador leading that group. Again, this group only with 4 teams, so all teams on 2 played. Trinidad right now came into it as the higher ranked team, but they're going to need to do some work because currently they only have a +5 goal difference to that of +16 for El Salvador. But a part of that is Trinidad have not played. Wait, did they? So Trinidad only dropped 5. Damn. Yeah, so it's not looking the best for them because they weren't able to do better than get a draw against Honduras. El Salvador was able to beat them 3-0. So they're going to need some help. I don't think they'll get any from Barbados. So yeah, I think Trinidad and Tobago really and truly, they only have one option, and that is to win this game at the Hazley Crawford Stadium for all the marbles on the 17th of April. So, good luck to the Trinidad female team. They need that win over El Salvador. It's just 1 game left, and they have, a full week to prepare during this window. So hopefully they get it right for their sake. But El Salvador will not be easy. You see the goal scorers so far in the competition: 9 goals for Coral, Angela Aguilera, Bonnie with 5 goals in a group with some other players. Jody Brown on 3 goals, and a bunch of Jamaicans with 2 goals each. Thomas, Kiki, Shania, Shanil Buckley, and Denisha Blackwood all with 2. And then Kanya Plum and Primus with a goal. So those have been all the goal scorers. Those are the groups. And again, all of this waiting to join the top 2 ranked teams, the big dogs, Canada and the United States. So yeah, that's basically what we have to look forward to in the Concacaf on the women's side, and the W Championship coming up in November. But first things first, people, we gotta get through these qualifiers. So Jamaica will face Antigua and Barbuda on Friday, April the 10th. As a matter of fact, let me do what I said I was gonna do now. There's about 60 of you in the building. Thanks for staying tuned in. I know I'm not talking about Rudolph Speed and the JFF and Ricketts and all of that, but kudos to those of you here tonight for this, because the girls deserve just as much of the time as we give the team that gave us the most headache of any team ever, right? But let me copy this and let's paste this right here. So people, do me a favor, hit that link right there. That is the live video to the watch along we're gonna do Friday night. Go ahead and get a 20-25 likes over there from now. Definitely helps once we go live that day to just throw it out there into the algorithm. Say, damn, this guy has likes for this video. Him don't even start yet. So yeah, just do that and can be more visible that day. I expect a lot of you to turn up, because you know when it comes down to the Reggae Girls in this space, look no further, people. Look no further. I know, I do the research, I watch the game, then I study the players, them, and you will get that vibe here of a knowledgeable and good conversation as it relates to the Reggae Girls. And of course, we're gonna have fun as well, because it can't be too serious in life. I believe we would, I had one. I don't think they're gonna make us qualify for hosting. So yeah, I don't think so. For real. Wish Jamaica could have just full the stadium one at a time for show appreciation. Boy, I would love that too. I would love that too. I don't know if it's feasible, but boy, that would be awesome. That would be awesome, Sigri. Yeah, definitely JWPL teams should be represented. Just give them tickets. Any female girls school team that want to come, give them tickets too. I would do that. Or well, maybe you can't give them, but corporate sponsorship, pay for them or something. Or give them a block at a good rate. Just do something. But people, that is it. That is it. I'm not gonna dive into any predicted 11s or anything like that. I think as long as I start the show an hour before, I'll have ample time to give you my predicted 11 before the actual squad drop. I might have to start it maybe an hour and a half before, so I can get that in. But really and truly, it was just a broad preview just to show you where we stand. Like I said, for the rest of the day, I'm going to chill out on the content more than likely, just going to be chilling. I'm going to watch some Champions League today for sure. And then tomorrow, look out for some content. I might do a little Europa Conference League watch party type of thing where I just watch games in that time frame and just, talk about obviously the players I care about, like Bailey and some other players. But we'll see, not sure. I know for sure though, tomorrow evening, we're going to do an EPL preview show. And Friday, we'll be back here for the live watch along for the Reggae Girls. All right, people. So click on that link in the comment section. Drop some likes over there on that live stream for the Reggae Girls on Friday. And until then, people, I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And we are out.